We think we understand fairness. We think we know what people deserve. But the grace of God doesn't follow our rules. It's not earned. It's not measured. It's not even fair. That's the heart of the parable of the workers. A story that flips our sense of justice on its head. A story about unearned salvation, where the last get paid first and those who work the longest walk away angry. This parable doesn't just teach, it confronts. We live in a world wired for comparison. We measure ourselves against neighbors, coworkers, friends. We draw invisible scorecards. I'm not perfect, but at least I'm better than him, we whisper to ourselves. We dress up our decency like it earns us something. We call it humility, but it's pride with a clean shirt on. And so, when it comes to God, we imagine he's grading on a curve. We assume he's impressed with our effort. We think that showing up early, staying late, and sweating under the sun makes us more deserving. We say we believe in grace, but when grace walks into the room with dirt still on its shoes, something in us flinches. Because deep down, we don't get grace, not really. We like it in theory. But when it gets messy, when it disrupts our tidy reward systems, suddenly it feels uncomfortable. We don't understand the holiness of God, not in its fullness, nor do we grasp the wildness of his love. And so we judge, we measure, we compare, we grumble. Jesus knew this about us. So he told a story. A landowner needed workers for his vineyard. He went out at dawn and hired a crew, strong, ready, reliable. They agreed to a full day's wage, a fair deal. But a few hours later, the landowner returned to the town square and found more workers. He hired them too, then again at noon, again mid-afternoon, and finally at the 11th hour, just 1 hour before quitting time. He told them all, "Come, I'll give you what's right." And then came the moment that still wrecks our logic. The day ended. The sun dipped low. And the master began to pay. But he started with the last ones first, those who worked only an hour. And he handed them a full day's wage. The early workers watched, eyes wide, doing the math in their heads. If they got a full day's pay for 1 hour, we're about to be rich. But one by one, as each received their envelope, their faces changed. Every worker got the same amount. The ones who worked 12 hours? The same. The ones who broke a sweat under the noonday sun? The same. The ones who barely had time to get their hands dirty? The same. The early workers protested. "This isn't right. We carried the weight. We endured the heat. And you're making them equal to us?" But the master didn't flinch. He looked them in the eye and said, "Friend, I did you no wrong. Didn't we agree on this? I chose to be generous. Is your anger because of my kindness? Are you offended by my grace?" And then Jesus said something that still flips the world upside down. The last will be first, and the first will be last. It's not fair. And that's the point. Grace is not fair. Fair would be all of us getting what we've earned, and none of us wants that. But we forget. We forget that we don't bring merit to our salvation. We forget that heaven isn't a paycheck, it's a gift. We forget that the cross wasn't about fairness, but about mercy. And sometimes, if we're honest, we don't like it when grace shows up for someone else. We see a person walk into church for the first time after a life of chaos and rebellion. And we struggle with the idea that they're met with the same love, the same welcome, the same heaven. We see testimonies full of wreckage and redemption, and something in us says, wait, is that all it takes? We've been good. We've played by the rules. We kept our hands clean. We tithed. We served. We showed up early and stayed late. Shouldn't that count for more? But grace doesn't work like wages. Grace is not a transaction. It's not a reward for effort. It's a gift born from the heart of a God whose ways are higher, whose love is deeper, and whose mercy is scandalously wide. If we find ourselves offended by grace, it may be because we've forgotten just how badly we need it ourselves. Or maybe we've never truly understood it. Because when you really see grace, when you really know Jesus, you don't resent others for receiving it. You rejoice. Because the grace of God doesn't free us to sin, it frees us from it. It breaks the chains we didn't even know we were wearing. It rips the mask of pride off our face and shows us that we were the lost ones all along. Even in our goodness, even in our rule-keeping, even in our early arrival, grace doesn't reward performance. It invites surrender. It doesn't care how long you've been standing in the field. It just wants you to come home. So don't ever look down on the grace given to someone else. Don't grumble when the undeserving are embraced. Because that undeserving soul, that was you. That is you. And thank God He doesn't give us what's fair. He gives us what is unfathomably, undeservedly, overwhelmingly good. That is grace. And it is more than enough.